right. And press the button on the side of your, there you go, hold it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you. And give it a little volume. There it is. Cool. Right on, all we need, make sure this thing's going too. Cool, so we never talked about the Rockstar stance. What we had talked about previously got us up to a certain point. By the way, this is Paul.
How's it?
I'm Wago. This is the first part of our bass series. What we're going to be doing is talking about what we reviewed in the last couple of different sessions, and then talk about what we're going to be doing in the future and what you two can keep on doing at home. So we've been primarily staying around the key of C. How are we in tune? Yeah, that sounds good. How about your high C? You can play just the G if you want. There you go. Sounds great. So what we've been talking about is basically power chords, 5 chords. Something where we don't include the 1, 2, 3, the major third, or the minor third, you know? We're just playing the 1, 5, 1. A lot of people play them skipping a finger, or playing with 2 fingers and skipping a whole fret together. I find it nice to be played the root note down here with 1 and then 3 and 4 sometimes. But I also use the 2-finger approach that a lot of people do. You've been trying both of those?
Both of them, yeah.
Cool. What we were talking about is scales for us as bassists. They can include major and minor, like where it gives the stress of what it feels like. But what we were talking about was with power chords, when you're playing with any group, you quite literally can follow the scale preference of whole step, half step, whole step, half step, and do a whole scale. So you don't really have to know all of the chords that you're playing, but it's good enough to just start playing out and playing with people if you want, because that's really where it all comes from, hitting the wrong notes. So I've hit a fair share of wrong notes. Let's hit a couple right now. Let's try and get them right.
I'm good at those.
Wonderful. What we're talking about was doing like a bebop kind of thing, like a C at the 3rd fret with our 2nd finger, our middle finger, if you will. Our 1st finger should be strategically placed right above the 2nd fret to hit the string above and hit the major third of C, which is an E note. The only other note we would have had, which we could have either gone with C to D, or we could have gone C to an open D, both the same note. Absolutely. And for this preference, we're going to do the C, and then we're going to go to the 2nd fret to hit the E. Our pinky's going to go all the way out to the 5th fret. Absolutely. And then 5th fret, 2nd fret with our 1st finger, and then 5th fret. All the notes we're going to be hitting for any of this are a part of that. And what I was just doing on there, instead of hitting just a quarter note, which is 1 beat, I'm hitting it for 2 notes, a downstroke and a downstroke. If we're playing with our thumb and not pick style like some bassists do, we implemented the idea of taking our thumb and hitting the string and then popping our hand back. How's that going? Good. And instead of having like a off to the side, try 2 concepts. It's both of them and it's really weird. Ready?
Okay.
One, you go to the note and then through it and let your finger completely land on the string the same way we do it like these. That feel?
Oh,
a little weird, huh?
A little weird, yeah.
So what happens is when you do it kind of slow, it mutes it. So if you do your thumb where the hardest part of that joint is, right on it, and go like you're hitting it, and then down through it and land on the next note, when you go faster a little bit, what happens is it starts feeling natural. And then at that point, it's almost as if we're holding a small golf ball in between there, and we do this motion. So one of the practices, and you can do this at home. Let me see if I can stand here.
Grab a golf ball.
Grab a golf ball. You know. Kind of do it like that. So what I'm going to implement today, as part of this kind of idea, is going a whole step below the C, down to a B flat. Cool, watch this. Do, do, do. Right, so if we got our first finger on the third fret, you got it. We're gonna go do, do. Wonderful. And the idea is to go. So let's just try the left hand really quick. Instead of doing the technique we're looking for, let's try just a pinch right here. Let's grab that string and do this. Wonderful. And then try that again. And then again. Now this next time, only pluck it once, but still do the finger movement. Yeah, weird, huh?
Hammer on.
Hammer on. So what we're gonna do, hi-ya, we're gonna use the thumb to do the same thing. Yeah. Wonderful. And do you feel how there's kind of like a distinction between
Yeah.
Cool. So here's the fulcrum idea. At home, this is what you practice until you get it. Wonderful. You got the thumb motion there. That's wonderful. Now watch this with your right hand that you got going like that. Try doing one of these. It's way overdone, but try taking this thumb from over there to over here. Yeah. And I'm way overdoing it, but that's the concept. Wonderful. And then if you swing these fingers up just a little bit, it changes the way that the thumb feels rounding that arc. I know, and it all seems weird right now, but if you go slow enough, going like, oh, that sounds great, wonderful. That's wonderful. And that's what we're shooting for. Yeah, and you know, each fret has a different feeling, kind of. Nice. So let's try this. Let's use that third finger that you got there, or a pinky on the note you have, either one, and keep that root note going, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to play 4 notes. One of those notes is going to be a C. So we're going to have a D note right now, because we know D goes D flat to a C. We're going to have one note. So if I'm counting, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I feel like Ozzy should jump up. In the shadows of the moon, I see you.
Well, at the same time, muting the other strings.
If you want, because you could feel how they would be just blaringly weird.
Yeah, until
that really calls together 2 types of concepts. One is just using your big old mitts to mute all the other strings you are not playing. And then here's where we combine the 2 concepts from today, taking our hand and just doing that and getting that constant rhythm between like a D note and a C and a D note again. They're 2 very simple bass notes. One's on the 3rd, one's on the 5th, both on the A string. So what happens is we learn how to like not hit that open weird G note by just having our hand present. That is a very, very awesome thing to do that people pass over, and it doesn't really make sense till after a while. You can also implement that concept to what we were working on walking the bass with our 2 fingers. When we were doing this concept where we're dragging our finger through a note and landing on another note, whether it's the bass going down through a note or the fingers coming back, you quite literally want to mute anything you're not actually going. You know, the top string's easy. It's the top string. But when you're doing the string right next to it, the D string, that still kind of 3 to 5 kind of feel you're having. When you're doing that feeling here, you don't want to have a blaring G over the top. Putting your finger down here is a very essential part of playing the bass. And what we had talked about earlier was C to C is an octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1, 1. Right below your octave 1 is your 5. Wonderful. So when played together, that is a super meaty chord. And what we do, this chord, when we play a C here, if we play it here, right below it by moving our finger from the A string to the E string, the thickest string, and playing the same structure we had. When we move that finger, we move the other two, absolutely. Let's hear those together. Yep, that is a nice thick chord too. But since we've opened up that next finger, this is a minor sound because we have a minor third. In the key of G, we have a B flat. If we were to move our finger up a half step, we would have a B note, which would be a major third. So hearing these two different types of notes, you know, it's a weird one to play full chords on a bass. Yeah, rah, and then from that fourth, yeah.
I got it down here.
Uh-huh.
Go.
Yeah, we've got that big old blaring chord there, and then try this one. Big old blaring chord, and then take your third finger, middle finger, and then play the fourth fret on the highest string. And I think it's already there. This one right there, wonderful. And then these two, brown, meow, meow, meow.
Okay. So
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
You got it. Woo!
Yeah, that's there. On the
Yeah.
highest string.
Yeah, for sure. That's it. That's a G major. Now that's a full chord, just like you're playing a guitar or anything else that exhibits a major triad. How about this? When playing bass, we don't generally think in chords, but when you learn chords with their majors and minors, and the concept we were just doing, you could have progressions that are like 1, 4, 5, which in the key of G, follow me here, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So if I got rid of all those silly notes and just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this song has 1 in it, 4 in it, and 5 in it. Almost all popular music has 1, 4, 5.
Here?
Yeah, for sure. Wonderful. G, C, D, groovy. So what we do is we influence it with majors and minors for full chords. G major would go to our C, but because I can't distinguish the major or minor there, I could play it up here, so you can get that third. But here's the kicker. Bass players don't play the third generally. We stay the hell away from it. So you could open that up for the singers, for the pianist, anything like that. So what we generally end up doing is just playing root notes. So with this concept, we could go, we can hit both the G's or both the C's, right? And you see how here in that 1-5 changes the feeling? It feels more like a 2-4 kind of a walk. Boom, 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 boom. Feels like a march. 1, 2, 1. And if we open that up and we play 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 1, 5, 1, right above it, yeah. And then right below it. Well, let's venture to say our first finger's on the G, our third finger's on the D, and then our pinky goes right above it to play that D note. Boom.
Thank you, right about it.
Boom, boom, boom. It feels weird. You got it. What I do is when I'm done with my pinky, I go, where am I? And I kind of just get rid of it. Now, remember that muting thing we were talking about? The back of that finger that's holding there will mute that weird note if you accidentally like ding and hit the same thing. Just so happens in the key of G, or the same note when you play it open at the 5th fret, which is perfect. So what I was alluding to, when we played it from 1 to 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, it kind of felt like a march, which leads us into talking about time signatures, and that's what we're going to be talking about in our next bass exploration, tempos and how to count those. I hope this was a good way to get a fix on how to put your hands on the fretboard and not be weirded out. You don't have to know that this is an F note to be able to play an F chord, to know that it also correlates with a B flat and a C. All that's just a lot of words. What happens is if you practice at playing just this C note, yeah, and you play with one finger and you let that finger fall down to the string right below it and fall on it like a bird falling off a telephone wire, you can do the 1 of a chord, you can go up here to do right above it to hit the 4 of a chord, you could go back to play that same note you were just doing, and then go up to that note, but go all the way up to a whole step away to the 5th fret, and then work it back to the 1. My sweet one, I call you my sweet one. You're my only true sweet one. Go back to the 4. One, I call you my sweet one. Far away, I'll say your name. We can do 1, 5, 1. My sweet one, calls you my sweet one. You're my only true sweet one. With my heart, I call you my sweet one. Here comes the 5. When I call your name. That right there is the foundation of music. Finding a little progression that you can understand, 1, 4, 5, and then playing the full chords that we've learned. As a basis now, if you can retain that this is the 1, this is the 5, and this is the 1, you can play bluegrass in any key when anybody says, hey, this is D bluegrass. Cool. D, F, right? D, E, F sharp, G, A, D, A, D, A, D, A, D, A, D, A. Groovy. Take the same concept and then just slow it down for rock and roll and add more finger notes. Just the C. Yep, and then remember our finger exercise? Walking down the pinkies. Is very a bluesy thing. We don't have to go that fast. We can go like this fast. And remember our lick? 3, 2, 5, 5, 2, 5. Yeah, 5, 2, 2, 2, 3, 5, and as long as you stick with that note, that note, and that note, you can do this note for sure. You can also do that note, and then you can do that note back again. You don't have to go all the way up to that other thing, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Those are just notes that are within the chord for you. And then if you change from your C into a different progression, let's say that we went up to a D, we can still do those notes. D, F sharp, D, wonderful finger movement, that's great. D, F sharp, and then A, boom. Yeah, and then you can go up to the high note if you want. And you can go up the high note or go back to the low note. Absolutely. And what we do is we work on hearing that with full chord structures to give a little support underneath the people that you're playing with. Absolutely. And to solve that, the needing and the wanting to go a little faster, you go with a metronome and hear.
Guilty.
A guilty.
Guilty of going fast.
Every day. But if you start off doing this, and each time get a little bit faster, but complete the whole phrase before you get a little faster. You know what I mean? So the whole phrase has legs. Wonderful. You add those 2 fingers walking the bass and it all comes together. You have fun today?
I had a blast.
Awesome. Remember when we're working on these things to try and use this concept of the pop to work on your moving up the neck, even if it doesn't make sense,